Okay. So let's start off with this. There are some STEM subjects, and STEM careers that we can work on. And these are, beyond engineering and medical. Okay. To give you a small introduction, I'm Subhashni, and I'm sorry I'm not putting my video on. There's some small disturbance in my video. I'm Subhashni, and I come from the team from Career Tests. I've got 20 years of experience in data science, and I've seen this space of education and the way jobs are changing and the future of jobs, evolve with kids in the similar age bracket. This is something which has, become very important for me personally, and I thought that this is something we should share out because there are huge number of changes happening in the world, especially with AI. You can see that there are just so many jobs which people say will become redundant, and that's a big scare. And there are so many new jobs which we feel that we don't know much about, right? So let's get started on the type of jobs that we can look at. To tell you a bit about career tests, our aim is to be able to, with technology, showcase and help people solve for certain problems. One of the problems that we find with a large amount of choices in education is that people are wondering that which stream should I study, which specializations should I go for, which industry and job roles should I join. And then once they join jobs, one of the problems they have is there's a constant request that you should upskill, become better in your jobs. And that's something which people need some guidance on. It's very difficult to take guidance from a generation earlier if they have not kept abreast. So sometimes our parents are guardians, they have not stayed abreast of the job market, and therefore it is important to look at other things. So the next possible thing is Google, and in Google you have just so many options again that until there is some way to decode what works for you, it's difficult and it's very easy to make wrong choices, and invest your money and energy on something which won't work out for you. So, what exactly is STEM? If we were to look at what exactly is STEM, we realize that STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay. So, we are talking about a science career, and we are saying we are going to take up science, but we don't want to take up engineering and we don't want to take up technology. In engineering, I am including architecture. Okay. There is a whole set of people who say, I don't like physics so much, I don't like XYZ things so much, and I don't want to take up this. Okay. So then if you don't want to take up this, and why do you think that we want to stay in STEM? Is there some reason why, as parents of children who are in this age, as guardians and educators, as students ourselves, we should stay in STEM? Do you think that there is something which is important when it comes to, people wanting to stay in STEM? See, this is an interactive session. I request you to not make it a monologue from my side. Do you think there is a reason why people should stay in STEM? Anybody?
I think STEM is going to be the future of
Okay.
engineering and technology, and I don't know if it diversifies into artificial intelligence.
Huh. So artificial intelligence per se can supplement whatever human intelligence does, and it started off a couple of decades back, where we saw artificial intelligence come into factories, and in 2011, Germany, because it perceived a huge risk that China was monopolizing all the production in the world to a very large extent, would become a threat. It's a risk to put everything into one basket. And it came up with a policy saying for German firms, in the next 5 years, we want to bring back our production jobs. But the cost of labor is so high in any of the developed countries, we can't match China's labor. So what we can do is we can replace repetitive jobs with robotics. Okay, robots, the Internet of Things, computers. And they actually took out a manifesto, and that led to manufacturing from 2012 onwards. Um, invest a lot of effort, time, and money into automation. Now, in manufacturing, the automation was perhaps slightly simpler, simply because these are all processes and they are standardized products that were getting created. Okay. But you just think that about 10 years back, even a manufacturing company was paying 12 to 15% of its revenue to humans in their salary cost. But today, if you go to the foreign or Indian, I'm saying even if you go to Reliance Industries and you check that what is the percentage of the revenue they spend on salaries, on humans, you will realize it has gone to 2 to 3% of their whole book. So 10 to 12% of the money which they were giving humans has now been invested in machines, automation, etc. So when people are saying that job is lost, this is what it means, that suddenly have the number of people employed in manufacturing gone down? No, because manufacturing has increased, right? As an industry, it's become bigger. But the ratio of the money which was going to humans has reduced in that sense. Okay. Machines are doing the jobs. You are not paying it out as salaries. Does it still reach the humans? Yes, because those machines are made by other companies which have people working with them, right? But the truth of the matter is this. And this whole generative AI thing is seeing something similar may happen in services. So can you guess that in service industry, 40 to 60% of whatever a company earns, it goes to salaries. Okay. But if generative AI has come and it starts doing some of the work of call center, etc., we can see that, it can drastically reduce the ratio of money going to humans. Is this scary? Yes. But it is also the truth that we have to move to places where, jobs are going to exist in the next 20 to 30 years, right? Because we're going to work for, all of us work nowadays for at least 20 to 30 years of our working life, of our life, right? You get into the workplace at 25 also, and you want to exit at 50, you will still spend 25 years in the workplace. Isn't this scary? Right, that we have to plan for a future, and we are saying that okay, fine, we want to look at the pockets which don't involve engineering and to some extent the technology functions. Okay, so what I see is that if I was to take off engineering and if I was to take off technology, what am I left with? I'm left with mathematics, and in a big sense I'm left with science. Right. Now, over here, I'd like to take a poll. How many of you feel that the kids are really interested in mathematics? Anybody who wants to comment on this? How many of you find that the children don't enjoy doing maths?
Ma'am, can you please show the slide again?
Yeah.
I feel my kids enjoy doing maths, Subhashini.
Okay, that's a great comfort, Gunjan, but there is a sizable amount of people who complain that their kids just don't like maths. That a lot of effort has to go to make them do maths. And I mean, just don't like maths, not in that sense, but a lot of effort from the parents'
Yeah.
end.
And I've seen many kids, they're scared of maths, and
Yes,
even
they're
I was actually.
uh, so you'll understand. They are
Yeah.
scared of maths. They don't enjoy. If you tell them that will you do maths as a career, they will definitely say, "No, I'm not doing this." If I
And
can,
most of them try to leave maths after 10th standard. I've seen many kids don't opt for it.
exactly. So what we are talking about is a trend which is quite, and as parents, our parents didn't really talk to us much. They didn't try to maybe ask us so much about what we like, what we don't like, etc. But as parents of the modern age, we like to, right? We don't want our kids not to enjoy their life or be miserable, with on whatever they are doing. So our awareness level and our sensibility has ensured that we really want keep the kids should enjoy their life. Okay. So I think with this consensus, let us just go back to the slideshow. I'll share out a document, okay, with everyone here on whatever we are discussing, a Word document, so that you can see in detail also what we are talking about. Yeah. So what are we saying, therefore, is that we have a set of people and kids who enjoy maths. They are willing to look at maths in the long term. They are not worried about taking maths as a part of their curriculum. And then we have a set of children who don't want to take up maths. Okay. So if you have the child who's actually going to enjoy maths, okay, then that is one big advantage for you. And these are a list of 10 jobs, okay, which are non-engineering jobs, which we can look at for the children who are going to enjoy the maths. Okay. So what are these jobs? You can see over here, there is data scientist, actuary, statistician, financial analyst, operation research analyst, economist, quantitative analyst, cryptographer, market research analyst, and mathematics teacher and professor. I think anybody who's sending the kids for tuition for maths will know, at least I know that in Bangalore, anyway, upward of 3,000 a month you pay for your maths tuition for high school kids. I don't know about other locations, but teaching in maths is a huge lucrative uh, part for with, of course, your teacher's salary and supplemented it with other educational salaries that you may have. So I want you to just see this slide, and then we'll go through each of these job roles one by one. Okay, should we go through these now? So data scientist, I think most people understand. I know Gunjan understands it very well. The amount of data in the world is increasing, right? So they need people who can make the sense of data. All this data which is on YouTube, how many people have come, how many people have gone, what are the people who like you of similar age, and they actually are what content they are watching. So those content should come up into your feed. All of these types of things where a lot of data is processed and some logical business outcomes are done come under data scientist, right? Then you have a whole set of things which are done for insurance industries. Every one of us has insurance of some kind, right? Anybody here who doesn't have a car insurance, bike insurance, health insurance, life insurance? Everyone has, right? Yeah. Okay. So, so when you analyze the insurance, right, industry, what is the payout? What are is somebody doing a fraud? Because you must have seen so many movies also, right? People try to take the insurance company for a fraud. They steal it and say that someone stole it and whatnot. Okay. So insurance in the whole world is a very big thing. We are talking about small things. Look at the government taking insurance for submarines, the plane companies, Indigo Airlines and all that taking insurance for the planes they fly, right? So it's a huge, huge sector. Then you have statisticians who work on other projects, especially you must have seen projects around econometrics, behavior, financial behavior, etc. So you have people who work on those problems, okay, and they are people who, um, are very much in demand. And financial analysts, this is mostly you will notice from MBA institutions, people who have done finance, economics, mathematics, they help you, help big companies understand how to save tax, how to, is some buying of some mergers and acquisitions, is it good enough, etc. You have operational research analysts. Again, these are people who help companies understand their supply chain, how to manage supply chain, how to ensure that the company in its processes, you will notice IIT Delhi, IIT Madras, how do these companies, how they can improve their processes to save money. Economists, again, these are people who work on the macro and microeconomics. You have seen just now the union budget, right? How much should we budget? What is a good target to take? Quantitative analysts, again, these you will notice come from a combination of places. They can come from MBA institutions like IIM Calcutta, IIT Kharagpur, which is a technology institution. So they help you understand how to improve, again, the profit you make, okay, in through some processes like your banking processes, or when you are underwriting processes. Cryptographers, these are actually in DRDO, Infosys, which are pure working on space technology. Market research analysts, they help understand and map out that what are the markets where there is huge potential. Like everyone is saying, India has huge potential. Then you start thinking, does the whole of India look at it, majority India, where are they seeing the potential? Below poverty, they profits at the bottom of the pyramid. So the reason why Tata started a car, because there was a huge say saying that there will be profits at the bottom of the pyramid. So you have a lot of these jobs. I think some to mute yourself. Uh, and then of course, as I told you, you have mathematics teachers and professors are in huge demand, because you need people for the above jobs, right? So for that you need teachers and professors. Okay. Now you'll notice that these are salaries, indicative salaries also that I have put up, and the largest salaries are for the actuary. Okay, these are mostly risk management for insurance. And then you will notice that again for quantitative analysts, which work in banking. But overall, also the salaries are pretty high, right? So if you're not doing engineering, that's not too bad. But one thing you will notice is engineering finishes in 4 years. While here you will notice that virtually all these courses, which is going to give you the next level of jobs, actually need you to do a post graduation. So you would have done a graduation plus you'll do some post graduation with it in this space. Any doubts on this slide? Everything okay?
What will be the salary for a decent engineer nowadays in per annum?
Okay. See, engineering is there in of multiple kinds. If you just go back to the earlier slide, I'll just take you through. what we're talking. You have civil, mechanical, electrical, chemical, aerospace engineering, and the like. And depending on the type of organization, you find that computer engineers start monetizing, or they get their first placements are pretty high if you're really good at it. While civil and mechanical engineers, they start getting money predominantly after the first few years of work experience. Engineers in India, anywhere, starting salaries are in the same range that we're talking about. You can start off with around 4 lakhs to per annum to about 6 lakhs is a decent starting salary range.
So you mean to say in these job opportunities which you are mentioning, they are better paying than engineering?
Yes, some of them are better paying. Maths is always better paying, with all due respect.
Maths is always better paying in the job opportunities that you showed.
Absolutely. Anybody who's ready to do maths, finance, which has only maths, etc., will earn higher salary.
But wait,
There
but
is see, the flow is like this. Out of 100 people who come into education system and exit it, at the point of exit, there are 20% who are doing STEM, 10% who are doing professional maths related outcomes like finance, CA, CS, those type of professionals. Okay. And there is 60% which are doing arts, 50 to 60% which are doing arts in India today in their
but
graduation.
also for pure maths, also if you take,
Mhm.
then you further post graduation is required.
Yeah. In maths, you will need, in maths, until, either you will do a post graduation or you will do a professional course of some kind.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, only engineers is the only part which I see that people can get a pretty decent salary with 4 years of education after 12th. Okay. Okay. So maths will always pay high. Now, anything else on this that you would want to discuss? I put together the colleges, top 2 colleges in India. There are, of course, more, and the top 2 companies for freshers. Okay, for this. But I will tell you, all of these companies that I know of, they will always have an entrance exam. They do a pretty good vetting for people to enter. Okay. And when you're looking at employability, they look at your capability plus they look at your psychometrics also. Okay. So it's very important. So employment skills look at your ability to deal with people and problems as well as deal with whatever skill that you have. Okay. So now if we say that we don't want to do maths, okay, we are clear that we don't want to do maths, but I'm good at chemistry. If a student says I'm good at chemistry, what can I take it on for? So let's look at what happens here. This is a set of 10 jobs where you would do extremely, extremely well if you were to take chemistry. Okay. And the best part with a lot of jobs within the chemistry domain is that you can later on start off as an entrepreneur. I find a lot of people who do chemistry related jobs, they later start having their own small shops, or they might, have, I mean, so I find that that is a big plus for chemistry. Just giving you a longer term perspective to chemistry. Thanks, Gunjan. Yeah, there are multiple options within chemistry, and today, honestly, with so much emphasis on packaged foods, and it's only going to increase, right? Packaged foods, medicines, living a better life, being awareness around plastics, etc. You find that toxicology, forensic sciences, material sciences, chemical technology, you really can do a lot in this. This is one of the biggest, highest growing. Even in the stock market, chemistry stocks, chemical industry stocks are doing extremely well. But again, this is something which very few people know. Yeah. So what are the things we are talking about? We are actually talking about, and you see the very high-end colleges, etc., are mentioned over here. It is not that there is not enough infrastructure. Again, the use of plastics, packaging, and these have led to a lot of growth in this whole part of toxicology, food sciences. Okay, so what are we talking about? I'm sure you follow the news, right? Where there is this whole thing that in India they were putting palm oil into certain products. Abroad, the amount of sugar in the drinks in India was double that of what you find in Coca-Cola abroad. You might have been following this space. In fact, Mexico, Coca-Cola drinking has become a huge reason for diabetes, type 2 diabetes in Mexico. And there's currently a huge outrage on the fact that people are unable to give up drinking Coca-Cola. It's become such a intoxicant for them. So chemistry is is something which is gaining a lot of ground. So you, of course, have the chemist, the ones that we see in the chemist stores, we see them in the hospitals, manning the drugs section. And you have somebody called the chemical technician. Again, these all are roles related to dispensation of drugs of different kinds, especially abroad. And I'm sure, again, if you're following some of the movies, etc., you notice that they dispense drugs. Like sometimes you don't get it, like in the pharmacy, like here we get in slips, right? They actually give you in the dispensary, they give you drugs in boxes created in over there as per the requirement of your prescription. Then you have material scientists and environmental scientists, which again is becoming extremely important given the increase in manufacturing of food-based processes as well as drugs. In this union budget also, they have reduced the price for some cancer-related drugs, right? The impact that it has on the environment, the long-term impact that certain materials used in drugs have on the human body, pharmacology and forensic scientists. Again, pharmacology is related to pharma and medicine, creation of new medicines, combinations of new medicines. And in between, there was this whole outrage saying that Vicks is not good for your child, Dispirin is not good. In fact, I used to be an avid consumer of Dispirin, and in between, for nearly 4 years, they banned it on this, um, thought. But one interesting usage of Dispirin I had seen was that if you put it in a flowering, you get a bouquet and you put it in water and you put a Dispirin in that water, the flower would last for more long. you know so there were certain chemicals and compositions of Dispirin which used to have that effect. Toxicology, I think you understand this very well, right? We have seen that people have um, uh, what causes toxic effect on human body, on animals, on consumption. Especially, again, a lot of these careers you will notice, are abroad also, because there they have huge allergies. Mushroom, peanuts, you can have allergies to a lot of things. And nowadays in India also they start saying gluten free and all that, right? So you need people who do these tests, and food scientists who put together the food, especially for packaging food. You have to ensure the food remains for some times. And I personally have started, taking that ID ka packaged roti, which you can just cook at your house. You don't need to sort of do the initial part of getting the dough ready and creating the roti. So all of these need food scientists to not only check on whether the existing packages are good by random checking, you also need them to create new products which can be put out in the market. Quality control chemists, this I think is self-explanatory, and technicians, you need who work in the laboratory of all these big pharma companies. Okay. Here again, you notice that there is very large amount of salary that gets paid for certain roles. Okay. So pharmacologist has a pretty good package. You will notice material scientist has a very large package. Now you'll say, why is it in IIT Kharagpur, Tata Steel? What does material scientist got to do? Have you noticed that they make rockets or they make iron and steel, which should be as light as possible, but they should be stronger than the old ones? Have you seen that people claim that this is tensile steel strength of this type, but the weight is only so much. So all those types of things for vehicles, etc., you need material scientists to do. In even in something like Tata Steel. Okay. So chemistry is a huge big option. Now, if you are any questions here or any discussion you want to have here? Okay. I hope this gives you some new information. Now, if you're not good at maths, but you're good at biology, and without being gender biased, there are a lot of kids who are girls who are good at biology. They like biology, but they are not very keen to do maths. I have seen like I've career counseled so many people now. I mean, in tens and thousands, and I can tell you that there is a sizable population of girls who get very good marks, but they don't want to take up maths. Okay, but they are pretty good at biology. So here, if you were to look at it, these are the type of jobs that are coming, and these are only increasing again because of environmental, um, uh, you know, awareness growing, and all this, increase in temperature, heat, etc. You find that these are areas where there is a huge increase in jobs currently. So you have the biologist. And of course the microbiologists who were studying different types of plants. Now, how many of you know that this, have you had this Malika mango, the variant of Malika? Anybody who's had this variant called Malika? It's very
Yes,
popular. Yeah, it's
yes,
very popular in Bangalore. Uh,
yes. In Bangalore, we had it, yeah.
yeah. So now this is actually a combination of a very beloved North Indian mango variant. It's called Dashehri. Okay, but which comes for very less time, and it's a very slim mango. It's found in Lucknow and those areas predominantly. You can't grow it everywhere. Okay. So they took the sherry and they mutated it with a mango of the south called Neelam, and they created what is called Malika, which is a much larger size dasheri. It's also much hardier dasheri. It flowers and fruits before the sherry starts. Okay, so what we are saying is food technology has become very, very important, and you find biologists, microbiologists, genetic, studies in biology. All of it aimed to improve the uh, quality and durability of food, right? Now, this has, of course, an indirect effect on your farmers, because if you take on variants, if you take on variants like this, you can end up with very robust crops and much better returns on the yield that you have in your farm. Okay, you will notice that farmers are very much benefited with such technologies. You have, of course, the ecologists, how to manage ecology, zoologists, and botanists. Here I will tell you, they are also in a very big way employed by these very large societies who are creating housing societies. You will notice the planning of the gardens, the type of plants that they do, etc. Because we are living in an increasingly polluted world, especially in the larger cities, and they need people with these knowledges to help them create the right environment to, because there's so many humans breathing in that small space, right? You have multi-storied buildings, 15, 20, 30, 40, 60 floor buildings, and the water situation is not so great. So how do you get the plants there who which will survive in that type of a climate, and give you the best possible atmosphere for you, your kids? Marine biologists, so 70% of the world is water, right? And I don't know again if you have seen it, but there was a scientist who stayed underwater for 100 days, and his cells, he lost 10 years in that. He actually became younger when he came out. Just the type of thing they say that happens to you when you go to space. They say, right, if you spend a day or 2 days in space, you end up, when you come back to Earth, you end up being younger, and that's what they are discovering over there. Of course, it is also because of the pollution. So Tata Chemicals keeps micro marine biologists to ensure it's in Gujarat, right? The factory is just next to the sea, and its materials, whatever is the byproducts, they go into the sea, and they actually make it a showcase that there even the most delicate type of sea creatures can survive, because they ensure that the waste that they put into the sea is of it does not harm the marine life. You see, otherwise in between there was a big problem in the fish around Chennai coast had picked up so much mercury that they have become poisonous for humans to consume, right? Biomedical scientists, of course, again, mostly by the big pharma companies, you will notice they have done so that they are given jobs so that they can discover uh, many supplements. So B complex and vitamin C, those types of things also have become so big in India and abroad now. That there is huge amount of money being spent on biomedical scientists. Wildlife biologists, we are just depleting wildlife, so these guys actually have to ensure that the wildlife survives. And you hear their the great case studies of certain rhinoceros species. The bison has been brought back into United States by these wildlife biologists. So of course there is a huge emphasis on environment, and people are now paying them extremely well to join in. Lab technicians, of course, again in diagnostics, and you must be seeing, if you do your blood tests and scans, you have so many lab technicians, right? Again, a lot of these, at least the lab technician, you will notice the ecologists, they start their own practices, self-employment after a certain point of time. Um, so if you look at it, marine biologists and biomedical scientists, these are and the genetic scientists, right, who create these new types of crop genes. In fact, this Ritesh Deshmukh and Genelia, they have invested in one a venture in which they're trying to grow a fruit which tastes like prawns, so vegetarian prawns. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the world. Neeta Ambani's water costs 5,000 rupees a bottle because, it's enriched with so many things, which supposedly is going to make her live till 150 years. So there are a lot of options now, and there are very few people in this space, because again people don't know about it, right? So if you play your cards right, I think there is enough and more opportunities in chemistry, biology, and mathematics for kids. So now I'm open to questions. What is it that you might want to ask?
Yeah, no, one question I had is that if people want to pursue econometrics,
Yeah.
should they take up economics honors or statistics honors?
It is available in both, Amit. Certain economics measures as economics universities, also like Delhi University, they have courses, but it is always better to go from the maths point of view if you're looking at pretty high paying jobs. Even in econometrics, they have combinations of maths and economics. You'll notice the ISI is also Indian Statistical Institute. It's in Kolkata, in Chennai, Bangalore.
Yes, ISI Kolkata was another
Yeah.
one I had.
You will notice they have specific courses for. Uh, so behavior science has become very big, right? How to make humans behave and give you money. So there you find that a lot of people who go into that part take economics degrees, while the ones who go to econometrics, they actually start off with a maths degree with economics as a subject.
Okay.
Which of these is most lucrative option if you are staying abroad for the children?
There in abroad, which locations are you talking?
Netherlands?
Okay. See, if you want to stay in Netherlands, it is very important for you to look at the companies and employment around you. Okay. If you were in US, virtually all of these are doing extremely well in United States. It's a very large country. Okay, there are huge opportunities within the country to move around. If you were in anywhere in Europe, the countries aren't so large, so you will have to look at the specializations that are there. Like honestly, if you are in Germany, a lot of manufacturing related specializations make a lot much more sense than services related. If you want specific information, I can find that out and share with you. I don't have it off the cuff of my hand, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I could probably add a few things there, Subhashini.
Hmm.
In Netherlands, I think they have a huge dairy industry. So I think the entire milk and dairy processing, cheese processing is one huge sector there. And then shipbuilding is really big. And then finally, I think in Eindhoven, if you look at it right, the engineering companies like Philips Healthcare, Lighting, and then ASML, which is into semiconductors and chips, is hiring big time. So that's on the Eindhoven area. I think yeah, the on the food and technology side, it's a huge industry. Actually, they're exporting to the whole world. And then on the horticulture side, I think they're one of the largest exporters of flowers. So Cook and Half and all. I think they are in fact the largest in the whole world.
Yeah,
So
tulips,
yeah,
etc. No?
tulips.
Yeah.
So the tulips, milk, cheese, dairy, and then shipbuilding, and then finally in Eindhoven, all the engineering and manufacturing companies as well. Yeah.
Like in Gulf, you will find a lot of oil related, organizations and their jobs. So though you study a similar specialization, finally the industry that you end up joining or desire to join should have some understanding in at least the supplementary subjects that you pick up.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So again, thank you very much for joining in. Is there any other question, or do you think we could close the session? Okay. Um, so again, I do hope you will spread out the word about us. We are at Career Tests, um, and we work in the space of giving career guidance through a scientific process of a test followed by the counseling. Do reach us, and I'll keep you all posted about our next webinar. Any topics that come to your mind, please feel free to share on WhatsApp with me. Okay then.
Thank you.
Okay.